The new government deal between Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and the Green Party is the result of ongoing negotiations between the three parties. The deal will now be sent off to the three parties, which all must vote for the deal. Whether it will even pass is another issue, but for now we're going to focus on what is actually inside the deal. The deal agreed to a 2-to-1 ratio for transport spending, which will see the next government spending twice as much money on public transport as it will on new road infrastructure. €360 million has been agreed for new walking and cycling infrastructure, and the Bus Connect plan to create new high-speed corridors into Dublin city centre will move ahead, with big expansions to Lewis and Dart services. In terms of transport, it seems to be pretty much as expected, with slightly more money being spent on public transport than was expected due to the Green Party's involvement in negotiations. This was the subject of most negotiation and the area where the Greens fought hardest. A 7% annual reduction in carbon emissions was secured, with legislation committing Ireland to carbon neutrality by 2050. This is huge and cannot be understated. It comes with an entirely new carbon budget system which sets out emission targets for all sectors of the economy, including agriculture, which is highly controversial. A new deposit and return scheme is being introduced for cans and glass, similar to the one that was introduced in Scotland last year and Norway a couple of years ago. It will see a deposit of around 10 to 20 cents charged on every sale of cans and glass bottles in the country, which will be refunded on return. This is being fought by small retailers who fear it may take up too much shelf space to facilitate the return of these products, as well as time and money. A ban on single-use plastics is also on its way and may become law during the lifetime of the new government. No new fossil fuel infrastructure will be built and exploring is set to end. This was a divisive issue, as it was initially hoped by Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil that increased fossil fuel production would help the country out of its current recession. A plan was announced to subsidise the retrofitting of over 500,000 homes by 2030 to improve their energy efficiency. New petrol and diesel cars are set to be banned from 2030 onwards, and plans are in place to ban fossil fuel vehicles from cities starting 2030. Financial supports will be introduced for taxi drivers who switch to hybrid or electric vehicles, as part of the government's plan to greenify the nation's taxi fleet. The issue of environment is where the Green Party won the most concessions from the two larger parties, and sees a number of international best practice environmental regulations, such as the new deposit and return scheme, being brought into Ireland. A national recovery plan will be announced in October, and although details remain scarce, it is not expected to be particularly green, with a big focus on construction and rebooting the tourism sector. A new jobs stimulus plan will begin next month and will focus on assisting SMEs and the hospitality sector. A cabinet committee on insurance reform will examine rising premiums, and a dedicated Garda insurance unit will be created to tackle fraudulent claims. A permanent pay review will also be established for the Defence Forces, which has seen the suspension of core operations due to poor pay and conditions, which has led to low recruitment and poor employee retention, ultimately leading to crew shortages. $50,000 new social homes will be built over the next 5 years, and the controversial Land and Development Agency will be used to increase the supply of affordable housing by building on public land. Local authorities will now be allowed to spend up to €6 million on social housing development without government approval. This will see the responsiveness of the government to local housing shortages increase. This deal commits the three parties to implementing Childcare, which I've actually already made a video about, which you can find right here. Free GP care is yet to be extended again, this time to more children and people receiving carers' payments. A new stay-at-home care scheme is set to be established to allow more elderly people to remain at home instead of in nursing homes. And respite services are set to be expanded. Respite services allow full-time carers of loved ones to take much-needed breaks, and there are already high waiting lists for these services around the country, which the government hopes to reduce with this measure. More flexible childcare options will be made available, and increased investment in childcare and supports for parents were promised. A further reduction in primary class sizes and funding to help schools prepare to open in a safe manner were also announced. There is increased funding available for university research and a promise to address third-level funding challenges through the announcement of a new model. Direct provision is a system of asylum seeker accommodation used in the Republic of Ireland. It is a means of meeting the basic needs of food and shelter for asylum seekers directly while their claims for refugee status are being processed, rather than through full cash payments. The system has been criticised by human rights organisations as illegal, inhuman and degrading, while proponents argue that it ensures asylum seekers are housed and cared for in accordance with international law. There has been a lot of controversy in Ireland regarding direct provision, and this deal seeks to address that. The document commits the government to the abolition and replacement of the direct provision system. The new system will be not-for-profit and will include plans for streamlining and speeding up the asylum process. A new anti-racism strategy is also set to be launched, along with increased efforts to grow diversity within the Gardaí. Two new schemes will be established to help farmers make a profit through environmental protection projects. A new ombudsman will be established to examine production chains and the prices offered to farmers for their produce. The National Broadband Plan is to be prioritised with regional development to focus on remote working. This will allow businesses with fast internet requirements to set up in rural Ireland, hopefully rejuvenating the dying rural Ireland economy. Hey guys and gals, thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna start uploading more regularly, so be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm almost at double digits. I'm almost at 10. I'm at 9 at the moment. So yeah, if you like this, if you have any opinions, sure comment. You'll probably be the only person to comment. And yeah, go on. Peace.